Hey guys, welcome to the Skolo Online YouTube channel, the channel that is all about learning. I'm back again this week and we are going to be doing part 7. Oh my gosh, we're going to be doing part 7 of our video tutorial where we are creating our own AI content generator tool, software as a service platform for writing blogs. All right. So if you're new to this channel, remember to like this video that you're watching. At the bottom, there's a thumbs up. Gives us a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to the channel, smash that red subscribe button, because when you subscribe and you like our videos, it really helps our channel to attract more viewers and to make these videos more visible to other people so that more people can see the videos on YouTube. Okay, and open up that show more button underneath the video that you're watching and check out the links that I have in there. So if you hear me say I'm going to link into the description below, that's where I'm going to put it. And the majority of the links that I'm going to show you and the parts that I'm going to show you, I will link in the description below. And scroll down over and have a look at the timestamps, because we are going to be putting timestamps for the majority of the sections in our video so that you can jump over to certain parts of the videos that's useful to you, because our videos are very long and you don't have to watch the whole video. You can just read about the section that the video is about and you can jump over to the timestamp, and if you come back in the future, you can use the timestamps again. All right. And then specifically for this tutorial series, you will see that we are video 7. So we've got already a lot of videos that are in this series that we've already done. Okay, so if you're just catching up with us now, like you just discovered this video, what would be very useful for you is to go into the description instead and have a look at the videos we've done before this one and watch those videos first, because at this point, you're not going to be able to follow if you just catch up with us in the middle of a working tutorial and we're like a long way into the tutorial. Like I said, this is like video 7 or tutorial 7 of the video. So check out the previous sections of this video before you continue. All right. And let's get learning. All right. So today, this is what we're going to be doing. Okay. So this is the dashboard of our Karabo. So by the end of this tutorial, your dashboard is going to be looking like this. Currently, if you're following along with us, it doesn't look like this because where we left it off, there was nothing on the dashboard. So today I'm going to show you how to then fetch from the database all the saved blog topics that you've already saved. Like the way there was an ability that you could, after generating blog topics, if you didn't want to use a topic, you could save it to use it later. So you'll be able to see all the saved topics there. And then you can even then go onto a saved topic and continue to generate a blog from that. Okay, so if you click there, it will take you to, you can continue generating a blog from that topic, or you can delete the topic if you don't want to see it again, then we'll remove it from our database. You'll be able to see the blogs you have already completed, So if you completed a blog, you copied and pasted it, but you want to see it again. All right, so we've saved that blog for you. You can go and you can check it out. You can remember, you can see what the blog was about, and you can view the blog over there and see what it is you wrote. Okay, so you can go back to the dashboard and do that. And these ones we don't, okay, there's no delete button for now, but I suppose you want to save the blogs you've chosen to write, right? And there's a word counter we've implemented there, so you can count the number of words that are there per blog that you've generated. And at the top over there, you'll see there's 5 blogs you've written and how many words in total you've used up to date. And this is already setting us up for us to now implement the payment processing and the subscription. Let us continue with actually building the application itself, because I think the point of this tutorial series is to build the application. You can always go back to some of the videos I've done in the past and look for how we implemented use cases like cold email writing, all these other type of writing use cases. But the process is the same when you make a request with OpenAI, what it is that you want. Okay, so but I want to focus on building the actual application. So to get started, go back to the template that we're working from. Okay, so just open it up, because you're gonna need to refer to it quite often every time you want to sort of put in a new card or a new part of the component into your working application. So this is our current dashboard, and I want to pimp up our dashboard a little bit. I want to start showing the user their statistics, what they're doing, what kind of blogs they've got written, words counts and stuff like that. Because if you remember, back on our home page, let me just open it up on a different window. If you remember back on our home page, we decided that we're going to have 3 different types of plans that we're going to charge for. And the first one is going to be free. So people, when they log in for the first time, they can completely use this for free until they use up to 3,000 characters. And we can change this, and it depends on how much you want. So we need to count these characters so that we can show the user where they are, how far they are until they have to upgrade their plan. And the next one is 40,000 and then unlimited. So the idea is we want to make it very clear to the user how many words they've got, and encourage them to pay for a subscription, which we can then charge them for and start making money, because that's the whole point of us building this application, is to start charging people for the subscription. So our dashboard is currently quite blank, and let's try and pimp this up a little bit and put in some interesting things for the users to look at. And the first thing I can think of now is we definitely want to count the words. That's the most important thing. We want to count the words, and we want the user to know how far they are with respect to the words that they've already used. And when we did the blogs, remember the last time we gave the user the ability to save blogs that they're not gonna, blogs that they've already written, but also blogs that they haven't, maybe they just saved a topic. So maybe we want to show that to the user as well. Okay, we want to show them topics that they can continue writing on, and then we want to show them currently where they are sitting with respects to the current blocks they have. Maybe they can rewrite, whatever. So let's build that page. So that's why we went back to the template, not this one here, because I like this card. I want to use this card and place it right here, and maybe replace that with the number of words that somebody has got left, and just, make it like a little bit fancy, and maybe have a table to the right there that shows all the different blogs, that they can do. So I'm going to use exactly this card as it is. So just right click on the page. It shows you the page source, which is like the HTML of the page. And then I just want to find this part, congratulations, John. All right. So I'm just going to copy that and search for it over there and search for congratulations, John. And you'll see it takes me to this card, which is like a card, a deflex. So there's quite a bit happening. So, but you know how to read HTML. Just focus on the opening and closing tags so you can figure out where you need to, copy and work from. So if I look at this, there's like a column and a row. All right. And I think this column starts and ends here because I only want the card. I want just this section of the card. You understand? So I need to know like where does this start and where does it end so that I can copy this card and put it somewhere else. So I'm going to go back to my HTML for my dashboard. And I think this is the home page. You've reached the dashboard page. I think that's the one where there's nothing on here. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start by putting in some columns and rows. All right. So let's put in a div row. All right. And then let's put in a div column, but not just a column. Let's see how big we want this column, because you can see over there, there's like, this is like probably 2/3 of the available space. And then this is 1/3. So 2/3 of an available space would be column 8, I think. So this would be column 8, and then this would be column 4. So 8 plus 4 gives you 12. So just imagine the entire row is divisible by 12. And depending on how they've split it and how many columns they've added, you can divide that by 12 and you can see the different partitions. So this would be like an 8 out of 12, this space. And then that would be a 4 out of 12, and 8 plus 4 would make 12. So if it was half and there was like 2 equal columns, that would be a 6 and that would be a 6. So the column sort of sizes 2, 3, 4, 6, whatever, depends on how much they've divided the row into. So if it's one row and you've divided it into 3 equal parts, then it would be 4, 4, 4. If you divided it into 2 equal parts, that would be like, a 6 and a 6. But if it's like 2/3 and a 1/3, that would be an 8 and a 4, right? So I want it that way. I like that arrangement. I like the 6 and the 4. So let's do like a column 8 and a column 4. So this one will be, let's make it LG8. And by the way, Bootstrap is really amazing for, being able to design your page to be what we call, what is this, responsive, right? So you can see here that as you move it, this becomes responsive. You can see the breaks and everything. So you can design that into your columns as well. So when you say column LG, it means on an LG screen, and there are different types of screens. There's LG, MD, XL, SM, all for different sizes. So let me maybe write in here the different screen, but I'm not doing CSS design. Okay, so I'm not a CSS designer, but I need to just show you the high level basics of that if you've never sort of dealt with it before, so you can see what I'm talking about and you don't get confused as I'm coding it. So there are specific different sizes over here, right? And there is SM, I think. There is MD, and this is like a small screen. This is a small, all right, and this is a medium, and I think there is LG, which is a large. There's more, XL and extra small, but I'm going to focus on these three main ones because they'll capture the majority of the screens that you face. So a normal laptop screen, which is just a normal size, is usually large, and then a medium would be something like your tablet, right? And a small fits a cell phone, right? So if somebody is watching watching your website from a cell phone, SM will apply, and medium, maybe it's probably a tablet, and this is like a large screen. Now, when you divide columns, you can specify the column size on all these different devices. So I could say this is an LG 8, right? But if it was a medium screen, I could say column MD 6. So if somebody is looking inside of if someone is watching with a tablet, then make it like a 6 column, which is like then half, right, of the available space. And if it was a small, you could say then it's column SM12. So that if somebody was looking at this from a smaller screen, then it would fit the whole. So SM12 would fit the entire range of the available space in the row. So you could do this and you can then play with this. You can even insist to say that even on the medium, I want it to be a medium 8. It's really up to you, and this is where the designer gets some leeway, but this is not necessary that you must specify this all the time, unless if you're sizing something that's very, very important that needs to be a specific size. Normally I just specify the LG on my side and let the screen sort of figure out the other sizes based on what I've given it for the LG. Unless if you're really sizing something that's specific and has to be a certain size, then you can do that. So that's what these mean. Okay, so for the LG, it's like on the larger screen, I want it to be 2/3 of the screen. That's what LG 8 is. All right. Then the second column will be whatever remains, all right? So you just put in div in there, and it will be column LG. It will be LG 4, and 4 plus 8 is 12, which means you get the full sort of row and you're sorted. So this is like sort of how on a high level. This is very high level. I'm not going to go into the details of doing front end design, okay? As a Python backend designers, you do have to understand the basic functionalities. Unless if you've got an entire team to do your front end, then they will build your front end for you. But in a lot of cases with smaller developers, you're not going to have a whole team. But you can understand the very high level of Bootstrap, and you can figure some of these things out. Especially if you're going to work with pre-designed templates, then you don't have to worry too much about building your CSS and stuff. You can just work off the templates, but you need to understand the basics of HTML and Bootstrap. So I think that's sufficient. So I'm going to put this in here. All right. And I'm going to leave this empty. And for now, let's put in just, say that this is the column 4 here. All right. So we can see it later when we look at it on our thing, when we push the changes. And then we want to put the card of ours, which is this one over here. This card, we want to put it in that space of the column 8. Okay, so let's see. Congratulations, John. This card, I think it ends I think this is where the column starts there, and I think therefore the card probably starts there. All right. How do I know that? It's just a wild guess, but I can always check it once I've pasted it to make sure that all the opening divs have got matching closed divs, and you can see this div matches perfectly with that. So yeah, so that was correct. But obviously looking at the HTML, you can see this is a column, right? So then the last div must be closing out that column, because if this is a row, it's not going to be closed out here. It's going to be closed out after the second column. So it just makes sense that this last closing div that's available is closing out the column, which means the next ones are closing out the card. Okay, that's from a high level my reasoning. And then over here, you can see, let's see what we've got there. You've got some illustrations there. So I think these are these illustrations. Let me see. That's the image, the height, the view badge. So this image here has got that illustration, and then the dark and the light app. Okay, so there's like two different images based on whether it's dark or light. All right, and I think there's a way that you can that you change whether you want to have the dark or the light view. But I'm not too worried about the light and the dark. So let's see, assets IMG. So where are our assets? Our static, I think we called it main. Did you call it main? Let's see. So this extends the dashboard on HTML. So let's have a look at our dashboard. In our templates, our layout templates, the dashboard is working with which, so it's main. So the CSS in here, the CSS files are inside of the main folder. So if we go back there, it's this main folder. Inside of the main, then you've got the CSS IMG and everything. Okay, so over here, what we can do is, I think this main replaced the assets. So I think I renamed the folder from main to assets. So this here, this is main. So let me just like find everywhere where there's assets and replace that with main. All right, I think that's the one. All right, so main is inside of the static folder. So I can then just do that. Static. Right, and then this dark and light, let's see, illustrations inside of the static folder. Is there anything like that? Illustrations, yeah. So this is like IMG. So there is IMG and then there is illustrations. All right, so main IMG illustrations. Okay, looks like that's what's in there. And then let's just double check main IMG illustration. So if you go into main, you go IMG, you go illustrations, you're gonna find that man with the laptop dark and man with, there's only man with laptop light. There is no man with laptop dark. So these are only the light, because by the way, I didn't get the full package. So anyway, I'm going to just actually remove these. All right, I'm going to remove these, and then we're just going to have that one main SRC for the image. And then we're going to have the height is 140. And then we will have the alt text over here. We can call this Karabo AI. Karabo AI, and then we close out that image tag. All right, and then that should be okay. Hey, and then there's like a button that says view badges, but obviously this button here, perhaps we don't want to say view badges. We want to say write a new blog, something like that. And then there's something that we want to be able to like say to the user now, right? So this is a span FW bold showing the number, okay? You have written, we're going to count the number of blogs that the person has written. All right. You have written this many blogs. So we're going to count them, how many blogs they have written. All right. And out of those blogs, you know, your word count for the month is, we're gonna put it in there, month count. Okay, words. All right, your count will reset on count reset. All right, so we want to show them, so maybe let's put in a span and make everything bold over here. All right, make that bold, right? So let's close it out as well. So let's close the number of words they've written and the reset of the, so here we're going to be able to tell them, hey, you've written this many blogs and your word count for the month is whatever. And then congratulations, of course, we can put in their name over there, and their name is obviously user.firstname. All right. So there is access to the user. So you can say, hey, whatever the username is, you have written this many blogs, and then we can then route them into write a new blog, and writing a new blog can just route them to the same page over here. No, it can route them to the same page. Where's my Garabo? This page here. So this generate blog, the generate blog topic, it can route them there. So let's just have a look at our URLs. And generate blog topic is this one over here. So if they want to write a new blog, we can route them to that page so they can get started with a new blog. All right. So let's put in that URL in there and paste that in there. All right. So basically we should be able to show that illustration of the image of the man and count. So these three words, these three variables, I'm sort of referring to them here. Count, reset, but I haven't added them to the context. Okay, so I need to have a look at the context for home, and let's have a look at views. And this context for home needs to have these three things. You know, okay, so the number of blogs, right? I need to define that. I haven't defined it. I will do that later. The month count, we need to define that as well. All right, so context, we need to define that. And then the last one is what we need to define is count reset. Okay, the day that the thing resets. Okay, so context, count reset is equals to the day that this resets. So the number of blogs, we will calculate this, but let's just put these numbers in here. The month count is the number of words somebody has used this month. Let's say you've used 1, 2, 3, 4 words, and the resets, it's going to reset on the 12th of, what is it, July 2022. Okay, so I'm just putting in random is this URL for home? So let's see this URL for home. Where's my URLs? URLs for home is the dashboard. Okay, just making sure that this is not the home page. Okay, cool. So now what we've done is we should have now a card over there that is showing these kind of things. And then let's just test that first. All right, with this sort of words that I've put in here that are not, it's not real calculations, but we'll calculate that later. All right, so let's refresh and restart that and see. Cool. Okay, so congratulations, Jane. You have written 4 blogs. Your account for the month is this much. Then they can write a new blog and they can see Jane there. And you can change this illustration later if you like. Okay, so at least our dashboard is starting to look more like a dashboard. Then what I want to do here, I want to the blogs that they have saved, because remember you could save blog topics. So I want to sort of like, you know, show the blog topics here that they could reuse, or even written blogs. Hey, so there are 2 lists here. There's blogs which have already been written, and then there's blogs which they just saved and they haven't written anything on. So let me have a look at my models again. So inside of my models, not in the not these, yeah, these blog models, you do get a blog, okay, and then you get like blog sections, right? And you can get a blog which doesn't have blog sections, and I think those are the blogs they would have saved. They would not have written any blogs on them yet. And then you can get blogs and get blog sections. So let's just start by fetching this blog inside of the views. All right, so let me say blogs is equals to blogs.objects.filter. We want to filter the blogs on the profile. All right, and this profile is a one-to-one with the user. Okay, so we can actually say filter based on the profile is equals to request dot user dot profile. All right, so we could do that. So filter based on the profile of the current request user, the current user who's on this request, because the request has the user variable in it. So the current user that's logged in right now, fetch the blogs for that person. But I want to filter blogs that have a section and blogs that don't have a section. So blog sections are now going to be created with a foreign key blog. So you can actually now, for every blog, get the sections for that blog. Okay, so for blog in blogs, we can say the sections is equals to objects is equals to this one, objects and filter. So we want to get the blog sections and filter on the blog, so that you can get the blog section and filter the blog section on the current blog that you're in. So you want to filter on the blog, right? And then we want to say if there is a section, all right? So if sections, right, exist. So this is a function you can call exist on a query, on a filter query, to check if there's anything that is there in the field, in the whatever. So if it exists, right, then you could say, maybe you could create a new list here and say empty blogs is equal to an empty list. And then you could say, I don't know, completed blogs is another list. All right, so if sections exist, all right, then you could say completed blogs append this blog. All right, so if sections exist, and the sections is this blog sections, right? If you have the sections, you could append that blog. But before you append the blog, probably what you want to do is you want to then add the sections to the blog, all right? So that you can be able to like pull them out later, but you don't need to do that on this page. No, on this page, I don't need to do that. And then we can say else, if the sections don't exist, so if these sections filter blog on blog doesn't exist, then we're gonna instead append it to the empty blogs. Okay, append blog. So we have two lists here. There's a list of completed blogs and a list of empty blogs. On the empty blogs, we can then, that is a list that we can display in a table where we can allow the user to go and rewrite or complete that blog because they have saved it sometime in the past and they want to continue writing it, right? So empty blogs is equals to empty blogs, and completed blogs is equals to completed blogs. All right, completed blogs is equals to completed blogs. Now we've got two different lists, and the completed blogs, somebody like clicks on the completed blogs, they could just like go and, you know, view that blog, whatever. But then the empty list, you know, they can like, if somebody clicks on it, you know, they can continue to write to get the sections and everything. So we will route them to different parts based on what they've selected. You understand? So now what we can do now is we can now say, we need table when I display that. So there's like two places to display. So I'm thinking I'll display the shorter list here and the longer list here, because then this one will have completed blocks. We can display sections, count the sections, count the words, you know, stuff like that. And we can like show that here. So this one will probably be a shorter column. So let's have a look here. We do have a shorter column table card here. Maybe we'll use this card. All right. So maybe we'll use this card. Let me see what's there. Okay. Maybe we'll use something like this, right? Which can show like the block title and I don't know, maybe just a button or something like that. Is this a table? Let me just check. So here under transactions, let me just search for transactions. All right, and search for this transactions. There's more places where there's transactions. So there's that one. So this is the one. I think this is the table. So this is not a table per se. This is actually like, it's a list item, and it's inside of a card. And inside of this card, you do have these buttons there, which I will not need. And then there's the card body. All right, so there's a card title, which says transactions over there. And then there is like a drop down menu, which you can use to like filter. Maybe we keep this and people can like filter whether they want to filter for the last year or whatever, or maybe we remove it. And then you can have like the card body. And instead of the card body, you've got like some list items, you know. So there's one list item, two list items. So let me just copy like the two list items, and let's see at the bottom. It's just the list items and then the divs close out at the end. So nothing out of the ordinary happening there. So let me copy at least two different list items and just the whole card up to there. Right, so let's copy all of that there inside of the home HTML. So this is now the second column over there. Right, so let's paste in there. So that's the list item. All right, so this list item ends there, and then we need to then number one close out the list. An unordered list. So this closes out that list. All right, and then there is a div that should close out the card body. All right. And then after closing out the card body, this closes out the card header. And then there's just one more list that should close out the div, right? I mean the entire card. One more close out div for the entire card for that one. And then this is obviously the column 4, which ends there, and that's the row. Okay, so let's then cut this. Just move it a bit there. So as you can see, this div closes out that div, and then you've got the card header. So over here, instead of transactions, we are going to call this saved blog topics, right? Saved blog topics, and then there's going to be like a button. This is a drop down button. So this button I don't need because I'm not going to do anything else with it. It'll just be a title, and then it'll be a card. And then this card has got two different lists. So actually we can remove the second list and then just see what to do with this list. Because for every list item, we're going to be displaying the, you know, so for every list item, we're going to be displaying like, you know, the blog title, right? So the first one is it's a PayPal logo. Let's see. This is IMG icons PayPal. So this assets must say, what did we say the assets must say? We said the assets must say main. All right, so replace the assets to main. URL for static. just so that it displays something. We'll change this later, because maybe there's going to be something like close to an image. I don't know. Maybe we'll randomize it, or maybe we don't even need this. Do we really need this section here? Let's see. Yeah, let's remove it later and then see what happens. Okay, so there's PayPal, send money. So there's sort of like a subheading and a heading, and we can use this perhaps to say, you know, every blog had a category and stuff. So perhaps we could, use the category. Did we have categories, or was it keywords? Let's see. So each and every blog, on the blog title, we had, so we could say blog.title and blog idea. Yeah, let's do that. So let's display blog.title and then blog.blog idea. So over there, this is, let's say this is the title, because send money looks like it's a bigger part. So this will be the blog title. All right, so let's make this blog title, and then this other one, let's make it the blog idea. So the blog idea was that initial thing that you entered when you were looking for blog, for blog titles. You entered an idea, remember. So let's put that blog idea in there, and then this pricing here, this is what we can use to count the words, right? So we can say plus, and then we can say words. All right, so we can count the number of words in there if there's any words to count. But at this stage, I mean, I can imagine at this stage, it's probably you're just counting the title, because you haven't counted sections yet. You've only used up the title, but we then want to count anything. I don't know. I don't know. Let's just leave it for that for now. Okay, so this list item, you must display this list item as many times as there is an item in the list that you're displaying. So the list that we are displaying is, obviously we want to do the empty blogs, right? So these empty blogs, you can see we are sending it into the context, the empty blogs. So what we want to show here is for blog in empty blogs, all right, and then you want to end for in here, and for. So we are saying for blog in empty blogs, and empty blogs being this list that we created over there, where we checked that the blog does not have any sections, because the moment the blog has got section saved to it, what we did last week, you would remember that that we only saved the sections after we got the sections written up, and then the blog had more information in it. So now we only displaying the blogs which don't have sections. So these are the blogs that you would have saved when you were saving your blog. And then for blog in empty blogs, then now we are iterating through each and every blog instance. Then we can show the title, the idea, and the words. We will calculate the words later if it's important. But at this point, because it's just the title, because we can actually do this now, hey? So what we can do is that in this blog, we can say blog dot words is equals to count blog dot title, right? So you want to count the title of the blog, because so far that's actually the only thing that has good words in it, or something like that. So blog.words is equals to that, and then we can try and see if we can't then put in the blog words in here. Let's see how that would look. All right, so let's then now we are only displaying that saved blog topics over here. So this blog topic should appear over there if this works without a hitch. But let's see. All right, so now let's refresh this. Okay, if it exists, sorry, if it exists, not exist. Okay, sorry, that's just a spelling error on my side. Let's try this again. I'm thinking of functions that exist other places, because there is a count function that you can use right from the inside of Django, but this is a string, a long string, so I can't just use the word count. So I actually have to let's do this by first principles. So the blog title, let's start by saying, let's say blog title, blog.title.split. Let's split this string first. We can split on the spaces, all right? Where the empty spaces are, you can split according to the spaces. And then you can say this whole thing, I want the length of this whole thing after it has split by the space, and it will give you the count of the title, all right? So let's try this. These things happen, and like I said, I say this all the time when I'm doing my tutorials. Do not be afraid of errors. You do forget things sometimes. Just read the error and try again. What's happening here? Okay, cool. Password wrong 3 times. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay. Sure. I didn't realize I had saved so many blocks. I didn't realize I had saved so many blocks here. But how to be a successful affiliate marketer for software SaaS, the pros and cons of using white label. The benefits, how to choose the right CRM, what kind of cross-training is necessary, so there's quite a bit, hey? So here where it's got words, actually these words are useless. I don't even know why I bothered to put that in there. And it's not really counting anything. You can see plus, there's nothing in there. Let me see what's on the HTML. Inspect, not inspect. Actually, let's close this inspect. Let's see what's on the page source. On the table on the other side. So this plus is just, there's nothing next to it, okay? So if I look at my HTML in the home, this plus, there's supposed to be blog.words, but then it looks like the blog.words, there's nothing there. It's fine, let's just remove it. Let's rather have the option over here to say we're gonna put in a button over there. We're gonna put in a button. It's gonna be a button danger, right? So it's gonna be a class. It's a button danger, button small, and it's gonna give you the ability to delete this from the list, because then there's like a lot of stuff in here. Now I'm gonna try and see if I can remove this whole this image this side, okay, because I don't know that we need that. So let's rather have a button danger, so that somebody can say, okay, fine, now I want to delete this blog idea, this saved blog. I don't want to do this saved blog. So let's try that. Right, so let's refresh that. Cool, that's better. Yeah. So we can choose to delete a blog topic if we don't want it anymore on the list. And this is actually a very easy thing to do, to implement. So let's just implement that delete now. And it will be an href. And it will be a URL. Let's put it inside of our URLs. So these are all the blog, the save, everything. So here we say save blog topic, this one, right? We want to be able to like delete blog topic. So instead of save, let's say delete. Let's say delete. Let's say delete. All right, and delete blog topic. Let's copy that. All right, and I'm gonna go here into save, just search for that inside of my views file. This is where save is, because delete will be similar to this one, right? So I'm gonna put it here at the top, and I'm gonna say def delete topic. It's gonna bring in a request, and it's gonna bring in the blog topic. Not actually, we're not gonna bring in the blog topic. Let's bring in the unique ID. Let's bring in the unique ID, right? And then of the blog, because it's already been created, so we just want to delete it. All right, so we want to say in here, login is required for sure. You don't want someone deleting stuff that's there. Then we want to be able to then say the blog is equals to, want to get the blog objects. We want to get the blog that has that unique ID. All right, and if you look at our models inside of blog, we do have unique ID. So we are going to be fetching the blog based on that unique ID. All right, so we can get this blog based on that unique ID, but this function can throw an error. So we're going to put it inside of a try exception. And if there's an error, just, return, redirect them back to the dashboard, right? Where's my URLs? Let's just redirect them back to the dashboard, right? Maybe we can like display an error, a message error here saying that, do we have messages in here? Something went wrong or something like that. Okay, so we can just display for them, where was I? Delete blog topic. So let's just display something went wrong, or blog not found, right? So we can display that error, and this can happen because this unique ID is going to be passed in the URL, and it's going to be passed in the URL on the so this is going to be, instead of a string, this is going to be, it's going to be a string, but this string is going to be unique ID string. Okay, so technically this is going to be passed into the URL, and somebody could like modify the string and put in like type something different in there, and then if that would happen, when you try to fetch it from the database, you will not find it, and it will throw an error, because this block, if you use get and you don't find it, it will throw an error, and then you don't want your app to like sort of crash or to like show the 500 page. So instead, you want to catch that error and reroute the person back if that block cannot be found. And then the next thing that you want to check for is, you want to check for that the profile of the blog is equal to the profile of the person that's trying to delete. So you want to make sure that you are deleting a blog that belongs to you, right? So that you don't delete somebody else's blog in case you got a hold of somebody else's blog's unique ID. That, because this is like, everything is saved in the same database technically. The only way we can control access is to associate a specific asset to your profile. So when you save things inside of the database, we associate it with your profile. So every time then you interact with that function or that row instance or that instance of that data that you've saved, you have to always call that unique identifier that helps you identify that this asset belongs to the person that's dealing with it. So when they saved the blog the first time, we made sure that we told them we saved that profile with the blog. And that's how we fetch the profile to display it when we're displaying it. But also when we delete, we need to do that check again to make sure that you cannot possibly delete a blog that belonged to somebody else that you did not just create yourself. So we need to check that the profile of that blog is the profile of the person that's doing the deletion. Understand? So over here, we need to then say, after we have done that, we need to say if the blog.profile, all right, if the profile of the blog equals to request user profile, then we can delete the blog. Okay, then we can say blog delete. Right, and then after we delete the blog, we can route the person back to the dashboard, and then we don't need to say anything. You can just but if that's not the case, we can then error again. We can display an error message, but this time it's not blog not found, it is access denied, something like that. So it's just sort of telling the person that actually you don't have access to do this. So that's delete blog topic. In the URLs, it says delete blog topic. And then I need to just copy that name of the function and put it inside of the home so that when somebody deletes the blog, they can do that. And then we need to pass it to the blog unique ID. Remember, you need to pass this unique ID. It's a unique ID that gets passed in here, and it's the unique ID that gets in the views over there that gets used to call the blog and so forth, right? So now we should have the ability that somebody clicks this button, it reroutes them back here, but it deletes that from the database. And then perhaps on the blog itself, inside of the models, inside of the HTML here, inside of the blog title, did you have the blog idea? Yes, the blog idea is what was entered when they were entering that blog. So inside of the blog title there, what we can do is that we can put a link that will link this person to a page where they can write and use that blog. So if you remember our URLs, we had this blog here where use blog, and we'd have to enter the blog topic and use it to generate the blog. So let's see this use blog topic function, because it might not work for us because we don't have the request.session anymore, because everything was saved in the session. So maybe that was not a great idea. So we might just have to rewrite a different one, hey? So this use blog topic, it used to check the blog idea and the audience and everything in the session. But let's see the blog idea, because that's all you need. You need the keywords, the audience, right? The keyword and the audience, and that's what you save in the model anyway. The audience and so everything you need is actually saved in the blog model. So instead of use blog topic over here, I'm going to rewrite this function actually, right? So I'm actually going to copy this whole function, right? And I'm going to put it down here, and I'm going to rewrite it so that it can generate a blog based on a saved topic where the information is no longer in the session. Because remember here we had to refer to the session and the stuff was saved in, and the session is only really valid for the session. If you've saved this in the database, then the session is no longer valid, or maybe what's in the session is not even what the topic is about. So we're going to have to rewrite this function differently and say we're going to have to give it a unique ID. All right. We're going to have to use a unique ID, and then we're going to say use saved. Okay, let's just say create blog from topic so that you know what this function is about. And now create blog from topic needs to fetch the blog. All right. And then do the blog section function. So it needs to say the blog is equals to the blog objects. Get a blog based on the unique ID. Okay. All right. And then this needs to be a try catch. Try except. let's just pass for now. Okay, so try that, except let's just copy what's in here. This blog not found, and return back to the dashboard. So over there, return that blog not found. And then once the blog is found, then we can now write this function, blog sections, right? So we can actually like remove all of this, right? You need to remove everything here. So we need to say blog sections is generate blog sections based on the blog topic. Now, the blog topic is now going to be the blog.title. You see that? So the blog topic is now the blog.title. Okay, the audience is now the blog.audience, because now that's saved in the database. So this is the blog title, this is the blog.audience, and then the keywords are also there as the blog.keywords, because now we've saved that in the database. We no longer have to get it off the session. We can get it directly from the database. So you can still get the sections and say blog title, audience, and keywords. And then after that, you can then save it again in the blog sections, and then context sections is that. Okay, it goes to blog sections, and then you be the AI if something is wrong, and then then it's gonna serve this select blog sections HTML, and once it does that, then you can still so this is gonna serve that HTML where you're gonna get. So the first thing it does is gonna give you those blog sections, and then it's gonna serve that HTML with the blog sections. And the next time when you now submit the blog sections that you like, it's gonna then generate the section details. And the section details, again, we need the audience and the keywords. All right. So over here, we're just gonna put the same thing, the audience and the keywords. All right. Blog topic. All right, the audience and the keywords. Generate blog section details. I'm just trying to see something here. The blog topic. Oh, the value. Oh, there's the value there. Okay, because I'm thinking, where's the value for the section? So this is now the blog topic is the one that's the blog.title. All right, I have to remind myself it was a while since I wrote this code, which is sometimes always a good. And then these are the audience and the keywords, which you can get from there, right? Because this has to have the section, the specific section that was selected, and that section is in the value, and then it'll get that. And then so over here, then we can continue where we left off, and then we can continue with generating the rest of the blog. It will generate it, will save it, and stuff like that. Okay, so now this generate blog from topic now is a different function as this one here. This one generated from the blog you've just created. Now, when you were creating the topic, when you saved everything inside of the session the first time, when you go through the flow that comes from there. But over here, you want to be able to sort of intercept that flow somewhere in the middle, where we have saved a topic, but we've saved the stuff in the database. So we're doing that instead. Okay, so let's add this URL. I'm just gonna copy that there, and then I'm gonna copy that path and paste it here, and then I want to just copy the function. So this is not delete now, it's generate from topic, and this one works with a unique ID again. So this is now generate blog from topic. Topic. Okay, generate blog from topic. Right, I need a comma there. Okay, generate blog from topic. Right, so generate blog from topic takes in a unique ID, and we can call it now directly from our dashboard page. All right, so let's go there, into our home dashboard page. And basically here where we have the blog title, I'm going to enter an anchor and href in here and enter just URL for the generate blog from topic, and in here it's going to take the blog unique ID, right? So the blog unique ID, now from the title, you'll be able to click on the title. You'll be able to click on the title and it should take you to that page there where it's going to automatically, in fact, you're going to generate, click on the title, and it's going to, before it takes you to that page, it's going to go fetch that blog from the unique ID of the title you've created, and then it's going to go and calculate and find the blog sections. It's going to check that the blog sections are more than 0, that the AI has actually generated some blog sections, and then after it checks for that, it's going to add them into the context, and after that it's going to display the HTML, this HTML with the blog section topics, where you can then choose the sections that you want to work with. And what I like about this is then if you do select your topics over there, then it will go and generate the detail of the blog. That's a lot, hey? And we're only doing one use case for now. We haven't even gotten into the other use cases. You see the amount of work that goes into developing a software as a service SaaS platform. And when you give people a price quotation, they want to be like, oh, but why are you so expensive? But oh, you're so expensive. Can't you do it for like $100? Do you see the amount of work that goes into developing this kind of things? And I'm not even developing on a professional level where I would be writing tests, unit tests, performance tests. I'm just writing basic code, because the next step after this is a lot before you can take something like this into production. So when somebody is coding you $20,000, $30,000, $50,000 for a software as a service application, it's not because they like money. It's because there's a lot of work and effort that goes into developing this kind of software, right? So git commit, let's like say you want to be able to delete blog, and you have no idea how many people watch my YouTube videos and then write me an email. And in the email, they'll be like, oh, we saw your YouTube video where you are developing this, content generator tool. And I think your video is so cool, but can you please tell me how much it would cost for you to do that for me? So people watch my video and then they want to ask me, how much would it cost for me to develop this for them? And I don't develop these videos because I'm selling my development services. I do these videos because I'm teaching you how to do it yourself. But if you come to me and you say, well, how much would it cost? And I'm going to give you a price you're not going to like, and then people never come back. So I've even reached a point where I don't even respond to those messages anymore, because people like, oh, can you give me a quotation? And then you give them a price and then you don't hear from them again. They're just pretty much wasting your time. And I might just remind you, I'm developing these videos so you can do this stuff yourself, and you can see the amount of work that goes into this. So this is maybe video 7 of the series, and we're not even halfway. We haven't even started talking payment processing, which is what I thought we were going to do today. But looks like we're going to run out of time again, because we are almost over an hour already, right? It just takes a lot of effort, and people don't get that. People think, oh no, just developing that software overnight. Okay, so let's see. White label SaaS. I'm going to delete some of this. I'm going to test my delete function. Let's see. Oops, it has deleted it. Yay, it says deleted it. You can see it's deleting it because they're getting less and less, right? And I'm going to delete these ones which have numbers next to them as well. Right, like this one as well. I'm going to delete that, and then I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4. So they're deleted even from the database. And then I want to test the one where I can, like, I've saved a topic and I want to go and continue writing the blog based on the saved topic, right? How to become a successful affiliate marketer, the pros and cons, what kind of cross-training necessary. Yeah, let's do this one, because last week we were talking marathons. So let's say we want to take this topic further and develop this blog, because these are the saved topics, and then over here we will have the written blogs, right? So let's click that one. It's taking time because actually it's running that function there. All right, there it is. So now it has generated topics for me, new to running. So let's pick that one. Just the best training, whatever. Let me pick one more. The benefits of cross training. Yeah, so let's pick 3 topics and generate a full blog. So yeah, it takes a while to do that. Remember, we said we will implement some sort of holding pattern that helps people wait so they don't like refresh the page or think something's wrong. Yeah, we'll do that towards the end. Those are, just remind me if I forget to do it, but those are the kind of sort of tying up loose ends that you want to do at the end. There you go. So here's my blog, new to running. Here's the kind of cross training you should be doing. The best. What I noticed about this, right, is that there's a bit of repetition because I was testing it even after the, like in my own time. And I found a bit of repetition, like it will introduce the topic and it will introduce the topic again, because every time it goes to call this generate section, it only looks at the title and the current subtopic, right? It doesn't look at what is already written on the blog already. So actually, and I'm not going to do this for you, but I will give you a tip and you can do it in your own time. And then when you generate your first topic, your first paragraph, this is okay to do it like that. But when you generate the next one, the next topic, actually what you should do is you should give it the result of the first topic, so that you should tell it that I've written this much and this is where I am right now, and then this is the next topic, so that it can continue on from the last topic. Because what happens is every time it's almost like starting from scratch, and then you're going to get a bit of repetition. You're going to get, whether you're starting out or not, like the high level definition there, and then you're going to get the same high level definition there, and you're going to get the same high level definition there, and then the blog ends up becoming repetitive and it's not quite useful, right? So I'm not going to show you how to do that because it's going to take too long, but I'm giving you a tip and you can just go and do it yourself. So what you can do is that, because you get the value here, right, every time a value is generated, you're going to have to figure out which is the first value in the list. And the value, remember, is this subtopic there. So the first value in the list, yes, you can do it like that, and then you can save the block section, right? The next block section, you're going to want to check for block sections already saved. You understand? So you're going to have to, the next time when you go back into this function, you're going to have to start by saying, if a section for this blog already exists, fetch that section and then include that section in this call, so that the blog AI tool knows what has already been written, so that it continues from where you left off, as opposed to it rewriting it as if it's writing it from scratch. Okay, but I'm not going to cover that now. So anyway, this blog, technically it's saved in the database because all the sections are saved. So if we go back to the home page, which is the dashboard, it's no longer there on the list, because remember, we're fetching only items that don't have block sections. Because now you have now created a section, technically it won't be on the list anymore, because it won't pass this test in the views where we are fetching only the sections that don't have, where we are fetching only the blocks that don't have sections. Remember, now there is another list of blogs which have sections, which is this list over here of completed blogs. So now that blog would have moved from your saved blogs to completed blogs. So I want to now display that list over there like a table. So it will be like, I don't know, let me look at my dashboard code. Yeah, I don't want to use the same, maybe just a normal table, just a normal table, like the kind of table we used before. Let's see on my template what the tables look like. Tables, yeah, basic tables, so it's something like this. So let's see this table, view page source. This is a table basic. Let's have a look at that. Table basic. Right. Yeah, that's okay. And it's got a table border bottom. I don't need a header and a footer. I don't need strip rows. Border table. I think the basic one is okay. This one, the table basic. It's okay. Let's use that one. So we want to maybe display that table. So let's go into our home page, and where are we now? So we want to, so this was column 4 and this was column 8. So we want to actually display it underneath this, within the column 8. So we want to display it like underneath there, you know, so within the column 8, so that it sort of like, you know, goes in line with that. So let's put in the card for the table. Let's see. So there is a card header, and a table head. Okay. All right. So let's do that. Copy that. All right. And then this table, let's close that table. All right, and then let's close that div. And then for the responsible table, and then let's close the div for the card. Right, so the card, opening, closing div for the card, opening and closing div for the responsive table. And then inside of the table, of course, you can now then enter the table head. All right, and then you can have a row there, and then you can have a T head in there, and then you can have a table body, a row there, and a TD. Okay, so the table head, what do we want to show in there? What do we want to show? Like the blog, we're gonna have the blog title. Actually, what we can do something similar to this, where we show the, you know, the, what was that, the blog idea, you know, text muted or something. So maybe underneath the blog title, in this first TD, let's have like an H4 or something, and then have a paragraph. And then over here we can have blog idea, and then the paragraph we can have blog.title, so that you can have like the idea and the title. And then after that, that's the first TD. Then we can have in the models, we can have the keywords, the audience, and the blog and the word count. Okay, so you can have the audience, T-head, the audience. All right, T-head, the keywords, and the word count, T-head, word count. And then, yeah, the title, the audience, the word count. So let's do here the TD. How many are there? 3 TDs. All right, so the audience is obviously the blog.audience. All right, the keywords is blog.keywords, and then the word count is blog.word count. Right, but then I want to display, like, you know, using this, you know, the badge. I want to use a badge for the keywords, for something on the table, something. I want to use the badge for, you know, something. So let's see how they did the badge here. Just users tooltip. All right, edit active. So let's see, where's this active? So that's where active is. So they use a primary badge. Yeah, we can't use, the badges are going to be tough to use, because then we have to specify which badge to use for which, you know. Yeah. So let's not use the badge. But that would have been nice. It would have just added some color to our table. So let's see over there. And then the top where it says Angular project, they just use a strong in there. All right. So maybe for the audience, we can use a strong as well. So then I give the table some flavor. And then obviously we want to have action. All right, and then we're gonna have TD. It's gonna be a button. All right, so what button are we using today? Primary, button outline, primary. And this is just view. Like when I say view the blog, right? And to view the blog, our URLs, there is a view generated blog where you just give it the sort of the slug of the blog, okay? Because now everything is saved. You can just do it like that. So you can say, where is it? View generated blog there, and give it the slug of the blog. So somebody can like go back and like in the future, you can see the blogs you've already written. So that's A. And then over here, we'll do href is equals to, it's a URL for that. And then we're going to use the blog slug, right? And then remember here, we are iterating through a list of, don't forget that we're iterating through the list of completed blogs over here. So the T row is going to be duplicated for all the blogs that are completed. So it's going to be for blog in completed blogs, and then that's the end of the row. We can just put in there and for. Okay, so now you should be able to see a list of completed blogs. So instead of saying table basic, let's just put the completed blogs. And I still want a word count. And I think we need to count words per sections and then add them up. So the word count, there'll be nothing for now, but we will calculate that later. Let's just see. View generated blogs. Right, so then let's rerun this and let's refresh that. Okay. Oh no, where are we? Dashboard. What is happening here? This is supposed to be So this table, and let's see if there's a div missing. Normally that happens, but that happens. It's a div missing. This div over here is for the row. Yeah. Column LG8. This is column LG8. And this is column LG4. So this column LG8 that starts there has a card that starts there, and then there's another card that starts and ends there. And then this one is the div for the table. Then that's the table. So everything inside of the table, that's okay. That's the head, that's okay. That's the table, that's the div for the card. All right, after the card, what do we got? All right, so maybe let's not do no wrap. Let's allow the column to wrap. All right, maybe that's the problem. Let's allow the column to wrap because it seems to, maybe the column is too long, especially the keywords over here. All right. And over there where we've got the TD and the paragraph and the H4, perhaps let's just like not put in a paragraph. Let's just say H4, and then, you know, without the paragraph to make it a little bit smaller, and maybe let's make it like an H5. Right, so it's a bit smaller. Right, yeah, and then maybe we need a bit of space there as well. So this card, div card, let's give this card an MT3. Okay, margin top. Let's try again. Right, and then let's run this and take another look. That's better. Okay, that's better, but now it's wrapping a little bit too much, but then it's wrapping at least to fit everything in here. So these are the blogs we've written already. So you can see we've written a blog for entrepreneurs, for beginners, for entrepreneurs, for beginners, preparing for a marathon, white label software. I was writing some white label stuff. Let's view this blog and see what's there. You see, white label SaaS. This is a blog I wrote with some sections in it. And you can always route back to the home dashboard. You can see preparing for a marathon there. There's the blog that we wrote for that. All right, and then over here you can start creating a new blog. You can see your saved topics. So I think you're good, hey? You're good to go. Now we can actually count, do a proper count, so we can see what is this count in these words. All right. So now let's do, that's the last thing. Let's focus on counting the number of words. There are two ways you can do this. You can do it every time in the view. So every time you display this view, you can do a calculation and count the number of words and then display it. Or you can do it inside of the model itself, and then in the model it will recalculate every time the model is saved. So the nice thing about doing it in the model is that it will recalculate even the time the model is created, whereas if you do it inside of the view, it only calculates when someone is on the view. You understand? So perhaps let's do it inside of the model. And inside of the model we have two places where they, let's see, there's the blog word count, and then there is a section where there's no section word count, but perhaps we want to have that because we want to be able to actually have a section word count, and then the blog word count is the one that we can then do inside of the view. So the section word count will be created when the section is saved. Right? There's no way to count inside of the blog because there's no sections in here, so you can't count it in here, but you can count it in there. So what we can do here is that we can say the word count is equals to, let's put in a character field in there, right? And then there's the body in there. So we can say when this is being saved, okay, we can say count the words. Right, so we can say if self dot, if there's something in the body, Okay, so if self.body, then we can say a counting, let's just call it x. X is equals to, how did we count the last time? We said, we split it. We said self.body. This is a very crude way of counting, We split it on the spaces, right? And then we set the length of this. Right? And then this is now going to be a integer count num value for x, right? But what we want is the word count. So we can then say self.word count is equals to, I'm going to take a string of x. I want to save it as a string. So that's the word count now inside of the section. So every time a section is created, we will count the number of words inside of the body. We're not even counting the words. We need to count the words inside of the title as well. Yeah, we need to count the words inside of the title as well. So now, there's another question you might ask yourself. Do you only want to count the words that were saved, or do you want to count all the words that have been created? Because the user can technically be searching for titles and keywords multiple times before they settle on one. And every time they do a search, you get charged on OpenAI. So you probably want to count those words, not the words inside of the saved whatever, and that's a different way of counting. And I'm not going to cover that because that means you have to count at the part where you are calling the API. And every time you call the API, then you can perhaps save that information inside of the user profile, because that's the thing that that is a constant throughout. And every time that user calls the API, when words are returned, you count the words and you update the user count of the words the user has used. So that's probably the best way to count for the sake of billing. But here I'm not counting for the sake of billing. I'm counting for the sake of like wanting to know the kind of number of words inside of your blog, which people sometimes want to know, like how long is this? What is the word count on this blog? It's a useful measure. Okay. So I'm counting for that purpose, not for the billing purpose. We'll do the billing count when we're doing the billing calculation, and it will be a different count because people can call the API multiple times before they actually save a blog. So the words that are inside of a blog are not necessarily the words the user has used that you need to be billing the user for. Okay. So now word count is that, and self is the blog section. So what we can do now, we have a word count inside of every section, right? So inside of the views over there, what we can do is that every time we're calling the blog, especially the section exists here, we can calculate the blog words, right? And calculate the blog words. So we can say sections is that. Okay, so we can say blog words is equals to 0. Let's just use integers. And then we can say for section, in sections. Now we are iterating through this sections that exists already, which should be a list, by the way. It's filter, so this should be a list of sections. So for section in sections, we're gonna take that blog words, and we're gonna add an integer of the section dot word count. So the section word count would be a string. So we're going to turn that into an integer, and then we're going to append or sort of like increment this blog words function. Then now remember the blog also has a word count, right? So then now we can then, inside of the views, before we append the blog there, we can say the blog dot word count is equals to, we want to save it as a string, by the way, is a string of the blog words, right? And we can save the blog, right? And for section in sections, I'm just going to do something like section.save. Because currently, if you look at the models, this function only runs in the save. And the first time we do this, it's not going to run. But we probably only need to do this once for all the blogs that we have that would not have been saved with the function in it. Then we can remove this later, because then it will then run automatically every time you save the blog, because you will be saving it every time you create it. So for now, this is just a countermeasure to be deleted, okay? To be deleted. Then completed blogs is that. So blog.word count, we're now gonna update the word count and then save the blog, which means inside of the home, we should have the blog.word count in there. So we should have something in here, right? Yeah. We've updated the model, so we need to run migrations, by the way. So let's stop this first. Let's clear this, make up some space. Let's push the changes first. All right. Coolio. So let's run migrations, okay, to make the updates to the model. Word count in block section. So let's see, models, word count. All right, so that's weird. Why would I not make it nullable? It needs to be nullable. Otherwise, you have to specify it every time. So let's say, let's quit this one and fix it ourselves by making it nullable. What this means is that when you specify an instance of the block section, you don't have to specify the stuff that's nullable, but you have to specify the ones that's not nullable, because then you can't create the model without them. But you should be able to create the model without everything, and then you can specify the other ones later. So we can count the words later. We don't have to count them right at the beginning. Right, so we've pushed those changes there. Let's run migrations again. Coolio, and then after we run migrations, let us now migrate. Let us clear this and run our server. So I can just pull it from the past. Run it there, and so this time it should go calculate all of that. There you go. It's recalculated. So that's 967 words. That's 1,700 words, 484 words, 881. You can see the number, how long your blogs are, you know. And you can even like put a color coding in here if you like, because maybe you want green to be over 1,000, because 1,000 words are the ones you sort of want for a blog. Hey, now what we're going to do is, now I can count this, you know, I can count these numbers here that I had hard coded. Remember, so this view, inside of the views, we had hard coded these words and everything. So number of blogs and so number of blogs is actually count. No, not count. Why do I like doing this count? Number of blogs is actually blogs count. So it's count of this. So it's blogs count. It's not even blogs count. It's actually empty completed blogs. It's completed blogs, the length of completed blogs, and then the month count. Yeah, we're not going to be able to do this now because we need to implement a counter that is going to be sitting on a profile, which we reset every month, and we then every time they use the thing. So this is the billing count that I'm talking about. But for now, we will change this later. So let's say we need to update later, right? So here I can delete this section save. I don't have to have it, you know, I don't have to run it all the time. So we can update this later, but we can create a variable here that we're gonna, you know, month count like that. We're gonna create that variable here and say it's 0. And then over here, we can then just increment it the same way we're incrementing the blog words, right? So we can just increment with the same section word count. But in this one will be more because it will increment over and above because it's sitting month count at the top there. So over here, this will then be string month count. So this for now, and it's just a temporary measure. We're just counting the words that we have now. But technically, this count should be slightly different because we need to be able to manage it on a profile level where we're managing the people's subscription. We're going to focus on that next week. I thought I would do that today. I was ready to go with my PayPal integration. You can see I already created a Karabo app, which is for us here. And I already created it inside of the sandbox. And, you know, I was ready to go. I had done my research. But this just took me longer than I thought it would take me. But I think this is important to do this first because now what we have closed the loop. You know, we've got our blog generator over there, which you can generate a blog based on an audience and keywords, but you can save blog titles and you can create blog entire blogs. And then you can see on your dashboard here, you can get a nice summary of, you know, where you are with your blogs. You can check the ones you've already saved and work with those ones, and you can get a statistics of what your blogs are looking like. You know, the blogs you've written, you can view them again, copy paste them somewhere else. You can see the blogs that you saved, you're still going to write. You can do something about that there. You know what I'm saying? So this is, I think, was important to finish this dashboard now, because now next week we're going to focus only on the billing, because on the billing side, we need to manage this word count, not here, but we need to manage it on the profile page. So over here where we are calling our generate blog topic ideas, from that point, every time we call the API, we're going to need to record the number of words that have been used, and we're going to have to perhaps bring in the user here and then, you know, save that on the user profile page so that we can keep track of the number of words that user is using. And that's the number of words we're going to display there. And then we're going to start managing subscriptions by using the PayPal subscription API, so people can pay us and pay us on a recurring basis using PayPal. And I chose PayPal because it's the easiest one to implement for anybody, you know. So maybe as your homework, go home and create your PayPal developer account. It's very simple. Just go to developer.paypal.com and create your own account, okay? And make sure that you can get to this part where you can have your apps and credentials and then create a sandbox application that we're going to be using. Okay, so all you need is a sandbox application which has an account ID, and an account secret. It's sandbox because it's testing, and I don't mind showing my keys over here because they are testing keys. There's no real money involved over here. So do that for as your homework, and then next week we are going to focus on being able to integrate the billing, you know. So we're going to build this billing page, and maybe we'll be able to show the subscriptions. Or over here, there'll be a button that says, oops, you need to upgrade your subscription. Your words have been used up. So we're going to test everything until the words have been used up. And then they have to click the button that takes them to the subscription page. And then we just integrate PayPal. They pay us via PayPal. And you see, I was ready for PayPal today. I even have some of the functions I was going to run for the PayPal over there, and all the URLs and how to get your access keys. So I think we'll do that next week because we're running out of time. We've run out of time completely. But let me save this and push these changes so that at least you can see where we are finishing off. All right, finish off. Cool, guys. So if you refresh this now, you'll see now it's 5 blogs and it has counted 4,700 words, which is not a lot of words. Like 4,700 words is maybe 4 blogs. And maybe we give people 5,000 words as a start, right? Yeah, let's do that. Let's give people 5,000 words as a start. And then we'll be able to calculate. This will be based on the subscription date when they've subscribed, or it will be based on the date that they create their account. All right. So, but we can always change this. So initially it will be based on the date they created their account. So actually, and then plus 30 days. And then after that, it will be based on the date that they created their subscription. All right. So yeah. So thank you, guys. We'll continue next week. And hopefully you're enjoying the tutorial so far. Please remember to leave me comments in the description, and we'll catch up again next week.